I play Laura Pickler, who is the wife of Bob Pickler, the best butter carver in the state of Iowa. He's won 15 years in a row, and she lives for being Mrs. Bob Pickler. She thinks that it's going to lead to a life of politics, his success in butter, and his fame from, his local fame from being the best butter carver. He's been on Oprah before, he was in Parade magazine, and she just sees this as taking them to the top. And she's very ambitious for the two of them. And he decides, without talking to her, that he is going to give up butter carving and become a judge, and it makes her crazy because she had no control over it, and her whole life has changed at the drop of a hat, and she's grasping at straws, trying to save herself.
Laura, where are you going? Hey, don't you remember us? Oh, we had it so good. We were king and queen of prom. We were Boyd and Laura. Don't go. I need to see you.
Boyd Bolton runs Bolton Supercenter, the big car dealership in town, and he was the boyfriend at high school of Laura Pickler. In our story, he briefly comes back into her life because she realizes that he can do something for her, or will do something for her that probably no one else would. And basically, the way we worked it out was he was dumped. They were prom king and prom queen at school. Everyone knew him, Boyd and Laura. They were probably meant to be together, and she dumped him. And even though he's remarried and Tammy has kids, the moment she turns up on his doorstep, he drops them all. It's like, thank you God, this is my second chance. So he's very briefly very happy.
There were so many things about this script. It was such an original story, first of all, and I love stories that are set in a world that maybe you don't know anything about, but that are universal in the characters. And this is a great example of that. I mean, who knows about the world of butter carving? And yet, if you live in the middle of the country, you know that it is a real draw at the state fairs, and there's a real art to it.
Brooke is a sassy, smart, raunchy, funny stripper who likes to shock. And she's also from Iowa, and you get the sense that she hasn't really left Iowa much, but she is sort of a different breed, the other people in the movie and of the town. She's moving to her own tune, and she's sort of like this little Tasmanian devil who blasts through any room she's in and through town. And she's about as opposite as you could get from Jennifer Garner's character, from Laura Pickler.
Subculture that I think people will find fascinating, because it's taken very, very seriously, and it's done really well. You know, the stakes are really high for the folks who are involved. And I also just think that, you know, in particular, Jen's performance, I think she's doing something really special, and I think people will really enjoy it.
I play Jill, and she's adopted this 10-year-old girl named Destiny with her husband, Ethan, and she just wants to be a good mom. She's trying so hard to be a good mom, and then she gets thrown into this ridiculous butter contest thing because her daughter wants to do it. And she's just like in this weird world where Jennifer Garner's character, Laura Pickler, is basically trying to take down our daughter. And it's so weird. And she's trying to be a good mom, but everything's so weird, she just doesn't even know what's happening. It's crazy.
Caitlin is the kind of typical teen who is rebellious and generally can't stand her parents, her father or her stepmom. You know, is kind of the girl who thinks she knows it all, but in the end it turns out she really doesn't know much about herself, and she kind of has to find herself. I think she's quite vanilla in the beginning, and she doesn't really know who she is. She just knows she doesn't want to be like her stepmom. And then, you know, when you get to the end of the film, you get to see Caitlin go through this transformation, and she ends up a completely different person than when she started.
If you like Little Miss Sunshine, To Die For, Fargo, if you like those kind of irreverent, hilarious, satires, you're going to love Butter.